It's getting ridiculous. Every time you step outside, it feels like you're automatically down $100. And somehow, what you get for that money feels worse. Smaller portions, lower quality, less satisfaction. You're paying more and enjoying it less. And honestly, I'm over it. So today we're breaking down 17 things that are just not worth your money anymore. Not because they're bad, but because the value just isn't there anymore. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's start with one that might trigger some people. Specialty coffee. Yeah, I said it. I'm not here to attack anyone personally, but let's be honest for a second. A lot of these drinks aren't even coffee anymore. They're basically dessert in a cup. Loaded with sugar, syrups, whipped cream, and somehow priced like a luxury item. What used to feel like a small $5 treat is now easily $8, $9, even $10 depending on what you add. Oat milk, extra shots, flavored syrups. It adds up fast. And the crazy part is, you can make the exact same thing at home for a fraction of the cost. I'm not saying never go out for coffee, but if it's a daily habit, it's quietly draining your money. Next, cheap online junk. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Those random products you see online that are so cheap, you almost feel like you have to buy them. But here's the truth. Cheap rarely stays cheap because it breaks. It wears out, it stops working, and then you replace it. And suddenly you've spent more than if you had just bought something decent in the first place. There's a reason people say, I'm too broke to buy cheap. Because when you only chase low prices, you usually pay for it later. Not just financially, but in frustration too. Now let's talk about going out for breakfast. This one hurts because it used to be such a simple pleasure. A classic breakfast, nothing fancy, eggs, toast, maybe some bacon and coffee. It used to be affordable. It used to feel like a deal. Now, it feels like brunch pricing without the brunch experience. Two people can easily spend $25 to $30 on a basic breakfast. And for what? Something you could make at home for a fraction of the cost. It's not that breakfast is bad, it's just not worth what they're charging anymore. And while we're on food, buying lunch, this one is brutal. Because it sneaks up on you. One lunch doesn't feel like a big deal, but doing it every day? That's where the damage happens. A simple meal can cost $12 to $15, sometimes more, and it's not even that good half the time. If you think about how many hours you worked just to pay for that one meal, it hits different. Cooking at home might not feel exciting, but financially, it always wins. Let's move on to movies. Going to the theater used to be a casual thing, something you could just decide to do on a random evening. Now it feels like an event. Tickets, snacks, drinks, it adds up so fast. Two people can easily spend over $100 without even trying. And the worst part? That same movie is probably going to be available to stream in a few weeks. So now you're stuck asking yourself, is the experience really worth that price? Sometimes yes, but most of the time, probably not. Now here's one that might surprise you. Mocktails, paying premium prices for non-alcoholic drinks. Think about it. You're essentially paying the same markup as alcohol, but without the alcohol. It's fancy juice, that's it. Sure, it looks nice. Sure, it's presented well, but is it worth $15 to $20? Not really. At that point, you're paying for the vibe, not the drink. And that same idea shows up in luxury skincare. A lot of these products are marketed like they're revolutionary, like they're using some secret advanced formula that you can't find anywhere else. But in reality, most of the active ingredients are the same as what you can find in much cheaper products. The difference is branding, packaging, marketing. You're not paying for better results, you're paying for how it looks and feels. And if you're okay with that, fine, but don't confuse it with value. Now let's talk about something that's becoming a luxury right in front of us. Beef. Prices have gone up significantly, and while there are real reasons behind it, supply issues, feed costs, demand, the result is the same. What used to be a normal grocery item now feels expensive, and when one category gets expensive, it pushes up the prices of alternatives too. Chicken, pork, everything starts creeping up. It's all connected. Next, Airbnbs. This one had a massive fall from grace. It used to be the cheaper, more flexible option. It felt unique. personal. Now, it's often more expensive than hotels. Hidden fees, cleaning fees, strict rules, inconsistent experiences. You never really know what you're going to get. Meanwhile, hotels have stayed consistent, predictable, reliable, and sometimes even cheaper when you factor everything in. The value flipped. Flights are another one, especially economy. You're paying more than ever, but getting less. Less legroom, less comfort, more fees. Everything is an extra charge now. Seat selection, baggage, even basic conveniences. It feels like the experience is shrinking while the price is growing. And there's not much you can do about it, which makes it even more frustrating. Now let's talk about smartphone upgrades. Every year there's a new model. Every year it's marketed like a huge leap forward. But in reality, the differences are getting smaller. And yet, the pressure to upgrade is still there. Sometimes it's not even about features. It's about your current device slowing down, battery issues, software limitations. And it makes you wonder, is this really innovation? Or is it designed this way? Subscriptions. This one is everywhere. Music, movies, apps, software, even cars now. Everything wants a monthly fee. And individually, they don't seem expensive. But together, they stack up fast. And the worst part is you don't even notice it happening. Money just quietly leaves your account every month. That's why it's so important to actually check what you're paying for, because chances are you're paying for things you don't even use. And then there's auto-replenish. It sounds convenient, it sounds smart, but it's one of the easiest ways to overspend. Because you stop thinking about your purchases, things just keep arriving, even when you don't need them. And suddenly you have duplicates, clutter, wasted products. Convenience can be expensive if you're not careful. Buying organic. This one is controversial, but with prices rising across the board, paying a premium for organic everything doesn't always make sense. Not saying it's bad, but in terms of value, it's not always justified, especially when budgets are tight. Prepackaged snacks? Convenient? Yes. Worth the price? Not really. You're paying for branding, packaging, and convenience, not nutrition. And often you can make better, healthier, cheaper alternatives at home. Cheap clothing is another trap. Fast fashion looks good at first, but it doesn't last. Materials feel cheaper, clothes wear out faster, and you end up replacing them more often. It's the same pattern. Cheap upfront, expensive long-term. Buy now, pay later. This one is dangerous, because it doesn't feel like debt. It feels manageable. Small payments, easy decisions. But that's exactly how it gets you. Because those small payments stack up, and suddenly you're locked into multiple commitments at once. It makes spending easier, but saving harder. And finally, tipping culture. This one is complicated, because tipping itself isn't the issue is how far it's expanded. Everywhere you go, there's a prompt. Sometimes for services that don't even involve actual service, and the suggested percentages keep getting higher. It creates pressure. It creates confusion, and it starts to feel excessive. At the end of the day, this isn't about being cheap, it's about being aware. Because the world isn't getting cheaper, but that doesn't mean you have to blindly accept every price increase. You get to decide what's worth it and what's not. And once you start questioning things, you realize something powerful. A lot of what we spend money on, we don't actually need, and a lot of what we pay for isn't actually worth it anymore. So the real question is simple. Are you spending your money, or is your money spending you?